Okay, so I just wanted to go ahead and say that there's a preacher who wants to tell me, the video's old, but the sentiments, like with many things in fundamental preaching, have never really ever gone away. So there's a preacher that wants to tell me, and by extension you, that God hates you. So I brought somebody that God definitely hates on with me. How's it going, Ocean?
Hi. Yeah.
I know it's been a while since we've been able to do something together. Ye old Hammer Out days are quite the backlog now, as it were. But
Right. Yeah, so I guess this is Not Hammered Out. Welcome everybody to Not Hammered Out. But yeah, I guess like there's definitely kind of a disagreement between pagans and Christians, right? And at least a lot of Christians. I think there's not all kind of things that get applied here, but yeah, there's, especially when you get into some of these like big preachers and such, they don't like pagans very much. So I guess we are hated, at least by the God they believe in, right?
Yep. So we will get into that here in just a second. But as per usual, even though we have a guest, we are going to get into the fan art section first. So this one is from Thomasia. They say it's their first fan art, their first digital piece they've ever done on a drawing tablet. And they say it looks super shitty, but I don't think it looks shitty.
That was good.
I do think that there's a certain level of I'm going to fuck you eyes here. Very Nala from the Lion King right now. But oh, sorry, did I just give any furries PTSD? I'm sorry. But
Oh my god.
Thank you for your fan art.
I wound up on. All right.
We have one more piece, and is from Nami the Elder Dragon Neko. It is a slime rancher, or is a slime Suris. They've been playing a lot of Slime Rancher, so they wanted to show this. And I guess I'll say it again. I said it before, but we have another wonderful 2D artist, Souza, who is actually going to be working on a slime version of my character model, for those of you who are into that. So,
Gooey.
Yeah, very gooey. Very ooey gooey. As always, thank you all for your fan art submissions.
Is it ooey gooey?
I will fucking kill you. Anyway, as always, everyone, thank you very much for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to show up on the channel, the best way to do so is dropping them in the fan art section of the Discord server, where they will be gotten to basically chronologically. With that said, let's go ahead and get into how God hates us.
Yeah. Let's hear it, because I don't. All right.
That you need to know who the real God is and how the real God feels.
So we need to know how the real God is and how the real God feels. Do you agree with that, Ocean?
I mean, he's saying things in a very singular way. I tend to I don't know, polytheist here. So let's hear. I want to hear him out. I want to hear what the rest of.
Here he goes. Thank you very much for
Where he's
redeeming
going.
your points for an oh well. Oh well. He grabs his.
Some of you,
There we go.
God hates you.
Okay.
Some of you, God is sick of you.
Okay.
God is frustrated with you.
He
Call too often.
He says into the mirror. This sounds like therapy for him.
I don't know. This sounds like I hear this sentiment sometimes where it's like, I don't think this is where he's going, but where people will say, I think I'm annoying God because I pray too much or something like that.
God's not
it's like-
returning my
like,
calls.
I'm the person that's leaving God hundreds of voicemails or something. Yeah.
Why did God leave me on red? Sorry, I had to.
All right. But yeah, no, but there's a sentiment there that can be discussed, but I don't think that's where he's gonna go with it.
No, let's see what direction he takes it.
Yeah.
'Cause
I want to hear where he's gonna go.
God is wearied by you.
He's tired of you.
God has suffered long enough with you.
It sounds like someone. I have this image in my head of it being that you're praying too much and leaving God too many voicemails, and that my headcanon for this, as further we go into this, is like is that actually where he's going? And he's just gonna say stop praying.
Stop praying, everybody. God's sick of your shit. Child cancer?
Anyway,
That's
I don't
because
know.
God's mad at you specifically.
Oh gods! All right, this is taking the problem of evil into like a whole new. All right, anyway, let's hear more. Let's hear more. because I want to know where he's going.
He doesn't think you're cute. He doesn't think it's funny.
Wait, he doesn't think I'm cute? But have you seen my legs? Have you seen them?
Oh, no.
You really don't think I'm cute? Really? The fuck is wrong with you, God? Jesus Christ.
He doesn't think your excuse is meritorious.
Okay.
He doesn't care if you compare yourself to
he's talking
someone
about people
worse
that
than
sin too
you.
much.
He hates them too.
This is gonna be like all sins are created equal and fuck you, you're going to hell.
That's where my head has switched to.
Yeah.
It's no longer the voicemail thing. I think we're going to be talking about just like, all right, stop being a sin.
Stop being a sin. Stop
Yeah.
being a sin.
I don't know.
Is it play? There we play video. Play, please. Thank you.
God hates right now, personally, objectively, hates some of you.
Okay. Cool.
He has had enough.
What about
He is
hate
sick
the
of it.
sin,
There's
not the
no
sinner?
sense
Does
of
God not do that?
urgency.
No, God doesn't do hate. God doesn't do hate the sin anymore. He just looks at you and he's like, Ocean, I fucking hate your face. I don't know why I made it that way. I'm gonna fuck you up when you get older. That's God right now.
Legit, my self-esteem just dropped. I'm sitting here just like, no, I'm sad. But
God, Bon in the chat. It's not premarital sex if you never get married. That's playing 3D chess.
With you,
Oh my God.
but the cup is filled to the rim for him.
So God's got blue balls, and we're just edging him now, and that's the problem.
No. Oh,
Oh, whoa!
The Bible
Degenerate.
speaks of God not just hating sin, but sinners.
Yep, you're right. It's there is not hate. There is not hate.
yeah,
the
that's right.
sin
It's not
of the
biblical,
sin.
is it?
It's
God
literally.
doesn't do that.
He just hates all of us. God just objectively, you exist, you breathe, you a thought. God hates you.
I love when there's like a progressive Christian conversation that's being had, and then like, because it's fine. Like with a lot of progressive Christians, it's okay to disagree with the Bible, right? But then you'll have like, you get some of these Bible onlyists that will come out and say, no, actually, the Bible does say hate the sinner too. So you wind up with like Bible being against some of these progressive Christian positions, right?
Yep.
But I mean, from the progressive Christian perspective, usually that's fine. Like that they don't have to agree with the Bible on everything, because a lot of times you get into progressive Christians, their perspective is that the Bible was written by humans interpreting the Word of God, and therefore it's not inerrant, right? But obviously that's not the position this guy holds, because I think this guy is an inerrant Bible onlyist, is what it sounds like. Anyway.
Also, G-Dubs and this bunch of numbers at the end. Thank you both for the follow. G-Dubs, I think I know who you are. I think I actually like legitimately know who you are. If you're who I think you are. Anyway, continue.
Because sin is of our nature.
So wait, hold on. I have to stop it on that one because
This was the whole thing that I got into one time about God created us this way and then hates us because of something he did ultimately, right?
it is within our nature to sin. Therefore, it is within God's nature to hate us because he cannot abide sin, despite the fact that he created us in such a way that we have to have sin. And you can't make the argument that, oh no, fallen world, blah 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 blah, all that bullshit. No, God has perfect knowledge. As he is a being who is both omnipotent and has perfect knowledge, he knew that the end result of his actions would inevitably lead to a world with sin that he could not abide. Which means he's either capricious enough to create a world that he must hate, or he's uncreative enough to fathom a world without sin.
This is actually one of the things that early Celtic Christianity got into. Like the reason why Pelagius, who was an early Christian father, a Celtic Christian, who, anyway, I have a video on Pelagius on my channel where I go into him, or a lot of his positions as well. That he held the position of original blessing rather than original sin. He got into a big fight with Augustine over it early in the Christian church, and he was eventually excommunicated over this issue. and related issues. Like, you know, he was teaching women scripture and stuff like that, and that's a no-no. But like, you get out of a lot of these consequences when you don't have sin as an essential part of our nature, because and then you also liken that to God's love and God being a perfect creator and all this other kind of stuff. Like, Pelagianism is basically just looking for consistency in that and saying, like, no, your nature is good. You can be misled, you can make bad choices or whatever, but you know, it's not within your nature to be evil. And in fact, appealing to your nature and searching within yourself, and that moral consciousness in your heart of hearts, is what you should be looking more to, rather than against. And if that disagrees with the Bible, then the Bible's probably wrong. And this is the foundation of a lot of progressive Christian thought, that, you know, that voice within you that is that essence of goodness in creation is a positive thing, not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get into like this brand of Christianity that this guy's in, none of that works anymore, because he's holding to sinful nature. But it'd be interesting to see, like, a lot of these guys will hold that kind of position, but also object to original sin on the grounds that it's Catholic, because they just don't think that it's passed down from generation to generation. It's all individual, that all of our natures are inherently evil.
Jesus became human and he was able to not sin, so why is it so fucking hard for you, type of deal?
Kind of. It's just that our nature is still sinful, but they still disagree with original sin because they don't think it's inherited. Like, they don't think that sin is passed down from generation to generation.
Also,
this is why they have like an age of accountability and stuff, and they don't think that infants need to be baptized and all that shit. Anyway, sorry. Complicated theology. Christianity is wide and varied and complex.
Kira Sakura, so if non-marital sex of any kind is a sin and God is omnipresent, then isn't God sinning right now? Yes, in fact, actually, I've made this point on the video before. If God hates sodomy so much, why is he literally located up my ass and your ass right now?
Oh my.
It's not wrong, though.
When omnipresence is sinful, there is like, is God present in evil? In omnipresence, that's a logical problem that you wind up bumping into sometimes. Yeah.
We also had a $25 donation come in. Again, real names, don't want to say it, but it begins with an H. Thank you very much for those who are tuning in on YouTube and haven't seen over on Twitch. My car is dead. It is completely dead. So we are running a fund right now to try to get me mobile again. So anybody who is donating on that, thank you so terribly fucking much. It means the absolute world to me. Let's continue listening to a preacher tell us about why we're naughty guys.
Real quick on the omnipresence thing. Omnipresence is basically God is everywhere. Hell is somewhere. Is God in hell?
Yes.
Okay. I was just clarifying.
He's very hot.
Sin is not just a mistake that we make. It's not that we're good people down in our heart who had a bad moment. In our worst moments is the truest revelation of who we really are.
God, I'm getting serious fucking Joker vibes right now. All it takes is one bad day.
This is, again, disagreeing with that Pelagian aspect, isn't it? Like, he's original blessing versus, like, good nature versus sinful nature.
Yeah, he doesn't
right?
believe that we have a good nature. He just believes that we are
divine
dirty.
Nature, right? Like, Pelagius was taking, we are created in the image of God. That means that we have a divine nature. So that we have, like, there is a goodness that is within us at our core of being, and the opposition to that is no. We have a sinful nature at our root and core of being. Therefore, we're bad. And this is a big disagreement in early Christianity. And but the people that believed that we had a sinful nature as our core of being won the argument in like 400 something AD, and a lot of Christianity kind of evolved from that. Now, you do have versions of Christianity that survive with our nature is good, or that there is the spark of divinity within us, that God created us in our image, in his image. And that like, you find that in Celtic Christianity, and it still survives today. But overwhelmingly, Christianity does have this your nature is bad sort of thing. And it also like your nature is good has started to show up in more progressive forms of Christianity that aren't related to Celtic Christianity. They don't know that they're agreeing with Pelagius on this, but they're still engaging with it because it's there. Like it's a pretty easy position to kind of come to if you're looking at Christianity.
Is God all good? Did God make you in his image, therefore?
Therefore, your core of being should also be good, right? That's a logical progression. But a lot of Christians hold to this, your core of being is sinful because, something involving an apple at the Garden of Eden.
At the deepest level. You will struggle mightily with this.
Okay.
But it is the beginning of freedom.
I don't like the whole, slavery is freedom argument, and this feels very much like that.
Mm-hmm.
For if we do not diagnose the problem, how in the world can we present the solution? You are the problem, not the solution. You and I are sinners, and we are by nature objects of wrath.
Then why the fuck are you talking to us about it? You're literally part of the problem. You're literally part of.
He might even acknowledge that and then just say God is the solution, right?
Quote from the Bible. I'll give you 3 examples. Psalm 5:5. You, speaking of God, hate all evildoers. And again, you can find a Christian on the run when they start doing word studies.
So, wait, but God's committed genocide. Wouldn't that make him an evildoer?
You commanded it.
DCT. It is ethical subjectivism.
Oh, it means he hates the sin, not the sinner. That's Gandhi, not Jesus. Gandhi's not in the Bible. Gandhi's not close to the Bible. I'm not the judge. I don't decide who goes to heaven or hell. I'm not saying where Gandhi's at. I'm saying apart from Jesus, I know exactly where he's at.
Wait, wasn't Gandhi's quote, I like your Christ, but I don't like your Christians? I don't think it was the hate the sin, love the sinner thing. I could be very wrong here. But
I think he's trying to say that he doesn't know what Gandhi's salvation is or whatever the fuck. But I don't know. Okay, anyway, go ahead, sorry.
God doesn't just hate what you do. He hates who you are.
That's fucking gross.
My job is to tell the truth. Your job is to make a decision.
I've decided that I don't like you and you need therapy. That's what I've decided, good sir.
I'm just waiting for him to get to the point.
Growlithe, come on now. Come on. Hold on. I need to let Growlithe out real quick.
All right, cool.
Terrible timing.
Yeah, it's fine. Let's see. I don't like the vibes I got from You Are the Problem. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Moonstar. Let's see. I'll just put the dono link in the chat again because we're trying to get Suris back on wheels. Let's see.
I am done. We did it. They're out. Let us continue. After Sammy Cat redeemed their fucking
Streamer gone.
Psalm 11, 4 and 5. The Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes see the children of man. The Lord tests the righteous, but his soul hates the wicked.
Wait, he said he tests the righteous, but if nobody can be righteous, though. He literally just made that fucking point.
The world could a good, just, holy God look at the earth and say, good people with good hearts? How could God wait thousands of years, one generation to the next, look down and say, with this I am well pleased? He doesn't.
But does he do that with everybody, or does he do that with some people? Because now we're getting into this whole, fucking argument from I can't remember what it's fucking argument from composition. There we go. God's literally doing a fucking fallacy here by just going, hey, some humans are bad, therefore fuck all of you.
Right.
Hosea 9:15 speaks of a place. He says, "There I began to hate them. Because of the wickedness of their deeds, I will drive them out of my house. I will love them no more."
Oh, see, that's actually an interesting point. Because usually we get this whole, like, God loves you. God loves you. But it literally just like, no, God loved you at one point, and now he just said, fuck it. Not anymore. Also, Phantom Rem, why the fuck did you do the call for war right now? God fucking damn it. God fucking damn... Phantom Rem, thank you for redeeming 50,000 channel points. Jesus Christ. Oh, well. I hate myself and all of you. Jesus Christ. This is the reason. It's almost a call for... No, it is not that. This is the whole reason we're making this fucking merch line with the whole fucking war. The Owo and Uwu war. This reason. Because some of y'all can't behave. I put it at 50,000 points, and some of you are just like, that just means I have to get a lot of points. Jesus Christ. It's like putting the cookie jar 12 feet up, and the kid's just like, that just means I need a ladder. Specious, yes, somebody redeemed 50,000 channel points. That was an uwu. Because it doesn't get dropped in stream parts. It always gets dropped in videos, so people can point to the recorded segment and just be like, "That's the YouTube video where I ruined everything." That's exactly why. Phantom Rem, thank you for saving up that many points. Also, you're a monster. Let's continue. Phantom Rem, we need to understand why God hates you now.
God hates you.
See? Like I said.
And there is wrath for you. The wrath of God is being stored up for you.
Oh, so it is blue balls. I know I made the joke earlier, but like now we're literally there. He's literally storing this up.
You cannot believe in the personal love of God and not believe in the personal wrath of God.
You can, though. You actually can.
Well, okay. I mean, I think that you can recognize that God has both a loving and wrathful side, while not holding the position that like every single person has a sinful nature.
Well, yeah,
there's nothing inconsistent with God having a wrathful side with Pelagianism, for example.
Well, yeah, what I'm saying is I'm not saying that you have to hold that like he has one side and not the other. What I'm saying is that it is possible to hold to an all good God not having any of this wrath. Like that is a thing you can do.
Yeah, if you hold that God is like entirely good and therefore has no wrath, right? Like, because if you just define wrathfulness as not good,
yeah,
you would wind up with a position that's inconsistent with the Bible, but it is coherent. Like that, I don't know. This is one of the problems with Christianity. Like when you get like in a broad sense, is that some of the reasons that they provide for some things wind up falling into this category of like, well, it's semantically true.
Yeah,
you know, and I think that's what we're bumping into here, is that in his attempting to explain this, he's resulting in just this semantic case.
He's making these like really broad generalizations.
I don't know. We'll see. We've got a minute left. We'll see, or 2 minutes left actually. Let's see what else he says. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
I won't.
Some of you are in grave
I know.
danger. You should have a sense of urgency. And as I speak, don't let that small attorney in your conscience come to your defense.
The small attorney in my conscience. Brain lawyers, please save me.
He is absolutely like, I think there's one on the one side he's talking about like some people will justify them themselves the bad things that they do, right? On the other hand, he's directly disagreeing with Pelagius here. And like this is the point where he's disagreeing with Pelagius, because that inner consciousness in your deep heart of hearts, that part of you which isn't like deceiving yourself into thinking that something that you did that you know is wrong is actually good, right? You know intuitively, according to Pelagianism, because of that divine nature, right?
Like
You are
without
created in the image of God, therefore you have a moral intuition.
because you have God's good nature in you. That's how you can even perceive. Like from a Christian perspective, that's the reason you can even perceive these things.
That's what was causing Pelagius to lose his mind over this idea of like God of humans being intrinsically evil. He's like, no, we have like moral intuitions, so conceivably we can make a series of choices in our lives that involves us not sinning at all, and that's what caused the church to go absolutely nuts over him. It was like, whoa, hold up, what did you say?
Also,
you could be sinless. He's like, it's logically possible. It's not that it has happened or will happen. It's that it's logically possible, and that
logical possibility is the thing that really fucks with them, though. Like, I remember this a very brief story after I go through the fact that Cinnamon Roll just dropped 500 points for an oh well. But so there was this thing. It was back when I was working as a manager at McDonald's, and there was a customer who came in. He actually wanted to talk theology, and he made a point that like the U.S. could never fire off a nuclear device. And I said, well, why? And he goes, well, because everybody would fire off their nuclear devices at once and the world would be destroyed. It's okay, yeah, but that doesn't mean that somebody cannot fire off a nuke. He goes, no, God wouldn't let it happen.
Oh, okay, yeah, and then there's where that precipitates, right?
Yeah, like because God would not let it happen, because God needs his third coming. God, fucking blue balls jokes everywhere. Anyway, because God needs because God needs to solve his tummy ache, we cannot have nuclear explosions.
My fucking God.
That's what his point was, and that's what I'm hearing. Like, the thing that you described sounds like that as well, where just like the mere fact that I was trying to point out that no, it is possible for us to fire off the nuclear arsenal. Like that is a possibility. And he's just like, no, it's not. It is impossible. It can't happen. They're just like, everything you're saying is wrong. My brain lawyer wants to talk with your brain lawyer.
I mean, I would be like, can you cite that scripturally?
Can you cite where God said, I will not allow a nuclear device?
I guess the response to that would be like, it's inconsistent with like, what do the Christians call Ragnarok? Revelation.
What do the Christians call Ragnarok? That's fucking funny.
that there's like, it's inconsistent with their prophecy thing, and like that, and that would be his scriptural citation as a response. Like, I'm just kind of looking at from that person's perspective. But yeah, I don't know. Other than that, like, I don't think there would be any scriptural evidence to say that we can't fire off a nuke. You can even say that firing off a nuke is actually a pretty good justification for events in Revelation to kick off. What is it in Revelation? It's like giant monsters and dragons and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
the nuke is dragon fire.
Yeah, well, I don't know, has anybody seen Godzilla? Like, come on. Like,
everybody knows that Godzilla just has Goku in his mouth firing Kamehameha waves.
All right.
It's as if you are in the path of destruction and I am trying to warn you and you're arguing rather than running. It's as if I knew that when you returned home today, a plane was going to lose an engine and crash into your home and destroy you, and I'm telling you, and rather than running, you're arguing.
Yeah, because we just think you're wrong. Like that.
Okay, is anybody else, tell me, chat, if I'm losing my mind, is anybody else seeing the wall and the podium kind of blend together as if it's like the podium is like this two-dimensional thing that is like drawn onto the wall right now?
Oh my God,
like,
his podium is an asset like my entire studio.
It's like slowly becoming one to me, and I'm having, like, even with the shadows on it, I'm having some difficulty there. Like, it's just the coloration, right? Until he steps behind it, and then my mind is blown. Like, when he interacts with it, like, all of a sudden, it's like, whoa.
It's like you're playing an old like PlayStation 1 or N64 game where like the thing in the distance is just a 2D sprite.
Right. Ah!
Old Testament, Psalm 7:11. God is a righteous judge, a God who expresses his wrath every day. Ephesians 5:6. Let no one deceive you with empty words. Don't say, I read a book and I could.
I'm just going to stop him right there. Please don't talk to me about empty words. Don't sit here on this podium and tell me that you read a book and now you have information for me. Please.
Isn't he like holding a book?
Yes! Don't do that thing that I'm doing right now, the preacher says.
Consulted a theologian, and there's some guy in the New Testament class at my college, educated beyond his intelligence, who says this is all very primitive, and the God of the New Testament's nothing but hugs and muffins, and we're all going to go to heaven except for maybe Hitler, but it's a coin flip for him too.
So he literally just like took you, Ocean. I think he was speaking directly to you.
Go back a little bit. What did he say?
New Testament, Psalm 7:11. Every day.
No, is it 5 minutes? 5 minutes.
Book, and I consulted a theologian, and there's some guy in the New Testament class at my college, educated beyond his intelligence, who says this is all very primitive, and the God of the New Testament's nothing but hugs and muffins, and we're all going to go to heaven except for maybe Hitler, but it's a coin flip for him too.
Yeah, he's talking about universalism there, which has a relationship with Pelagianism. A lot of Pelagianists are Pelagians. A lot of Pelagians are universalists, because when you believe that your divine nature is good, that you're going to wind up. But I think even Pelagians hold to, like, when you get in, the ones that believe in hell, right? They're going to hold positions of, if somebody is like actively going against that nature, and they're committed to causing death and destruction and genocide and all that kind of shit, that's the kind of person that winds up being reserved for a punishment afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and a lot of universalists will even go to a point of saying that there's some people, like, nobody goes to hell, but not everybody goes to heaven. You know, that when you get somebody that is, again, like, that commitment to destructive acts or harm to others from in that level, that they're not welcome in the kingdom or whatever, right? And that's a reasonable position. Like, I think that he's trying to oversimplify. Like, he's kind of strawmanning the opponent there, because even universalists sometimes will say, well, look, there are exceptions here, but they would be also the position, like he has to be earlier about Gandhi, right? Like, where he doesn't know what their salvation is. According to his image, you know, Hitler could have gotten saved, right? Like this is, it's kind of frustrating, because you'll get people that'll accuse others of having, like, heinous people winding up in their heaven, when it's too cool. There's a hypocrisy there, and it's too okay or whatever. But, like, what if you're using this as a criticism to knock down the opposition, then if it applies to you, shouldn't that hurt your position? Well, because maybe not in the same way, but it should, like, you know, like, you can have a horrible person get saved in the view of Christianity he's spouting, right?
Well, not to mention, you can get mad at, like, heinous people being in heaven, but if you accept that all sin is equal, then you're a heinous person in heaven. Like, welcome to the pearly gates, motherfucker.
Well, yeah, I guess everybody that goes to heaven is a heinous person.
Yep. If you take the reductive view on sin,
yeah,
which most
that's
Christians
actually what
do,
he's expressing, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's got a reductive view on sin, because he's reduced it to where God hates everybody. Carte blanche. That's his thing.
That's what he opened with.
It is a hyper-reductive view on the idea of sin.
Right.
God hates your child. The child that just came out of the womb that hasn't had a chance to do anything yet, God looked at that child and just went, man, I hate this fucking kid.
Let no one deceive you.
I won't.
With empty words. For
Okay.
because of such things, God's wrath comes on those who are disobedient.
God's wrath comes on phrasing.
Colossians 3:6. Put to death whatever belongs to your earthly nature, sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, and greed, which is idolatry. Because of these, the wrath of God is coming.
Oh, whoa.
The wrath of God is coming on those who have rebelled against God and those whom God hates.
God is literally participating in Sin Bukkake, everybody. This is just Sin Bukkake. His wrath is coming on all of you.
Is that it? There's like one more second left. Yeah, there
Nope.
it is.
Do
That's
that.
it. That's it. That's it.
So I guess, yeah, this is the, like, it comes down, excuse me, it comes down to the Pelagianism thing, doesn't it? And that's pretty much,
Like, he
pretty
doesn't.
much what this boils down to, is that he's expressing just his position on theology.
And unfortunately, though, this is a position. This is a position that I find to be really toxic, because this particular position.
Toxic and common.
This is a position that when you take it and you accept it wholeheartedly, you have to simultaneously have disdain for every other human being in the world, and also engage in a metric ton of self-hatred. And I just think that that's just not healthy. It's not healthy for anybody.
Right.
And I know that, like, there's going to be somebody in the comment section that just goes, this is an old video. You pulled this up from 10 years ago. And yeah, this is a 10-year-old video. But do you know people who believe this today? Yes.
That's still relevant. I can see that. I can see that sermon happening today with like a little bit of a spin on it. I think that a sermon today would actually, on a subject like this, would be worse, not better. Like
A post-Trump version of this sermon does not get better.
Right, it doesn't. It doesn't. And like, I would be interested in seeing what this guy is saying now, you know. But like, I don't know. If you really want us to, we can go find Greg Locke. We can talk about his shit. Right? like that's like, I don't know how influential this guy is or anything like that. I don't know the first thing about this dude. But
Yeah, but what matters here is not him as an individual. What matters here, as in with most of my videos, is the ideas presented. And the ideas here, like you said, they're not only toxic, but they're common.
Right.
Like,
Very common.
this is good old
This
Southern
is what I grew up
Georgia.
around, man. Like,
This is good old Southern Georgian Christianity.
North Georgian too. Like, it's not, you know, like you get up in the mountains, you hear stuff like this. This guy's a much more, like, I don't know. He looks like he's in a bit of an expensively built church, and you know, but where I came from, you'd have churches that where they'd turn like a warehouse or some sort of whatever into a church, because like Christians are great at that. They'll turn whatever, if it's got 4 walls and a roof, they'll turn it into a church.
Yep.
And like you would hear shit like this from them. It's a very common position in Southern Protestantism. And like 10 years ago, yeah, it was just an example of currently existing prevailing theology. Nothing that he said here that was particularly controversial when you get into some extreme forms of Protestantism. And it's not even that extreme, honestly. Like, you find this in fairly mainstream versions of Christianity.
I think
Protestant, though.
I think the problem isn't that it is or isn't extreme. I think the problem is that this is considered normal.
Yeah,
I think that's where my that's where I hold my issue.
I think it's extreme, but it's also fairly mainstream theology.
It's extreme in the position that it takes, but it's not extreme as to where it sits in the Overton window. Like,
yeah,
it's
I
just
would agree with that.
It's just normal as far as like social zeitgeist is concerned, and that's kind of the problem. Like, also, BonBonBerry, thank you very much for redeeming your points for a hydrate. I shall do that.
Do the thing.
But with that said, do you have any closing remarks on this particular video before we wrap things up for this episode?
No, I think I yapped sufficiently.
Fair enough. Well, where can people find you, since this will be, at the very least, over on my channel?
Oh yeah, I'm Ocean Keltoi. You can find me if you look up YouTube, Ocean Keltoi. It's Keltoi. I guess there'll be a link down in the description. But yeah, I mainly do like pagan topics. I've got a video on Pelagius, which I talked about a lot in this video. So definitely go check out that video where you can kind of see like who this guy is that I'm talking about and a little bit of history associated with him. I'll actually send you a link to that video, sir, so you can include that if anybody wants to do like a deep dive. But yeah, I enjoyed coming over and hanging out, and thanks for letting me hang out on your channel, sirs.
Hey, no problem. I greatly appreciate it. And as always, everyone, if you want to support the channel and what I do, the best ways to do so are by looking in that description box. And there's various ways to support the channel down there. Also, if you haven't subscribed already over on YouTube, please do that. If you're watching over on Twitch, maybe hit the follow button if you haven't done also already. With that all said, though, as always, everyone, insert end of video tagline here.